So it was actually something that I felt I needed to do probably 15 years ago. I was very deep in my corporate career at that time. And it wasn't really a clear line of sight of, okay, how would I transition from my corporate life to opening a school? But I just felt like it was my purpose in life because the struggles that I faced when I was a child growing up, trying to get a high quality education, that I felt and that my parents felt education will change my life, and I really see that that happened with me and my sisters. It just felt like I had something unique to bring back to my community, and so I wanted to do that. And that was the kind of inspiration to start Rev Prep, and then really just build a school that I felt included all the unique opportunities that I either had when I was a child in other schools that were, in wealthier communities. Some of these things that are done by central office or back office, we don't have that as a single site charter, so we really need that support to just kind of get some of the foundational things in line. But additionally, I think one of the really important grants that we got supported our application process to expand to pre-K. So we were an approved K-8 already, but we had always had this vision of going down and opening up to pre-K. And we also have this vision of eventually going up to high school. But right now, starting with pre-K, we were really happy to get an award from Good Reason Houston to support that work. And we were actually approved by the TEA. And so we'll actually have pre-K starting next year. There's several different foundations in Houston, but they're really large foundations, and they seem to connect or have already established relationships with larger entities in the Houston community. And so not only is it kind of tough in the early days for a small school to spread the word with families, but is also around the Houston community in terms of what we're doing and what our goals are for impacting our community. And so I would say that without Good Reasons Houston's help, we would have struggled even more because, again, I think predominantly a lot of the support from Good Reason Houston has alleviated some of the load that I have to bear as the founder and superintendent. And I was also principal for the first 2 years, so that was a lot. But I was able to at least take a breath because the funds either helped got some technical assistance to help do some work that I would have had to do, or allow for us to support an additional person on the team that helped us grow or helped us improve what we were doing. And furthermore, I think one of the greatest benefits is, just the relationship building that takes place. I think Good Reason Houston is really unique in the fact that the relationship building and getting to know us individually or getting to know me individually really feels sincere, so that it's not just like I have to fill out an application and I have to wait and see if I get a grant. There really is a process of like, how can we help most? And it's like working with us. And so I don't feel that's judged in terms of applying for a grant with Good Reason Houston. I really feel like they're wanting to see us succeed and just see how they can help us the most. One of the ways it trickles down to our students is really just the opportunity for not only myself, but maybe our school director, our dean of curriculum and instruction, like these types of roles. The more administrative support that we get, it really helps all of us build stronger relationships, or have the time to build stronger relationships with our students and our families. We've unfortunately had some really tough times with social and emotional issues, especially following COVID this year. And this was actually our first year. Instead of just growing one grade level, we would have been just K3. We actually took a big jump and went to K5. And so those 4th and 5th graders were new to us, but they were already, enveloped into the educational process one way or another. And so this year we saw a lot of need to sit down and talk to parents, have conversations with our students. And I see that as a trickle down because if I or my school director or the dean of curriculum and instruction we're working on our pre-K amendment versus having technical assistants to have, do that work. Though that's just minutes or hours taken away from being able to, sit down and have a meeting with our parents and students. And so I see that as a huge trickle down, and especially this year, it was just mandatory. So really, we probably wouldn't have been able to apply for pre-K this year because we just didn't have the bandwidth if we were going to really be focused on the needs of our students. We need Good Reason Houston in Houston because I don't think people understand what a single site charter is trying to do, or not everybody understands, right? But parents want this, the community wants this. They want a unique of the community opportunity outside of even the broader educational options that already exist. And there's a reason that we're getting families. There is a need. We're not saying we're not trying to take over Houston. I don't think that's the intent, but there is a niche, but it's an important niche. And when there's an organization that understands that, I think that says a lot across a lot of different lines, because if we don't have organizations that support a school like ours, then it would be really tough to sustain and continue to bring what we think is a unique educational opportunity to this specific area of Houston, which is underserved. But I would also add to that, I need Good Reason Houston because it is one of the, it's not many, there are some, but there's not many organizations that actually have people of color making decisions, or as far as I understand it, making decisions on what community leaders to work with. And it's a different experience when a woman of color like myself who's running an organization gets to communicate with people of color. It's just a different conversation that I've had with other organizations, and that's huge. So I hope that Good Reason Houston continues to value that diversity in their own organization, because it does have an impact in terms of really supporting community leaders of color.